We're strong, you know. As women and as mothers, we are strong. But we're also fragile, we're also human. So remember that. Hi guys, welcome back, welcome back. If you're new here, welcome, welcome, welcome. If you're a regular subscriber, welcome back. Thanks for all the support. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing some things I believe you should never ever say to a mom. And these are things I actually experienced. Some of them are, and other things other mothers have shared with me. I think it's very important that we share these so that people can be a little bit more conscious and, you know, be able to exercise some sort of emotional intelligence if we ever get there as a people. But I think we can start somewhere, and this is how I think I can make an impact by sharing some of these things I think you should reconsider before saying to a mom. When I just had my daughter, I mean, like a few hours after, I'd want to say naturally, because I think this is perhaps something that every mother experiences. My tummy did not go down. I still had a tummy, of course. I mean, this was a few hours after having my daughter. There was a young lady who also had her daughter that same night, but it was after I delivered. So she came in the delivery room when I was leaving, actually. Luckily, I was the only one on the ward when I was delivering. Woohoo! That was nice, because I never had to hear anybody else screaming, and then it would have freaked me out. Anyways, let's stay on track. And so this was a few hours after I delivered, a few hours after I had my daughter, and I was on the ward now, the maternity ward. And then I saw her come down, because of course she would have delivered a few hours after I did, or maybe an hour, but after me. And she said to me, "But how your belly still so big? Look at my tummy, how it's small. And me just have baby." No, I can't tell you right now. I don't have the words to explain or to express how I felt in that moment. Particularly because outside of being pregnant, I had never in my life experienced being, and I want to choose my words carefully, being more than a size 2. And so having a big tummy has never ever been a part of me, a part of my life. And while I was still in euphoria, while I was still on cloud 9, I was still in that moment of, amazement, because I just delivered my daughter. I was still in that phase of, oh my God, did I really just push out a 7 pound 8 ounces child, a whole human? The last thing I wanted to hear was anything negative. I don't think I was prepared for a comment like that coming from another mother. But then God is so good. He would have prepared my mind, I believe, somewhat in that moment to understand that I should focus on the fact that I just delivered a healthy baby and we're both doing fine. And for whatever reason, her tummy may look smaller than mine, and it may have been a bad time for her to say something like that to me. But let me just focus on the fact that my baby and I are both fine in that moment. And that's what I focused on. And I said to her, and I turned to her and said, "So you go, man. Congratulations, by the way. All the best to you and your baby." And so I'd want to say to anybody who, for whatever reason, you think it's okay to say to a mother their tummy is big, whether it be they are pregnant or going through their postpartum experience, it doesn't matter at what point. You don't need to say anything. You see a mother, a pregnant woman, and her tummy looks extremely big. You don't have to ask if it's twins. You don't have to say anything about the size of her tummy. You really don't. You know, unless this is like your sister or somebody who you understand how they internalize certain things. And it really doesn't matter who it is. I think there are some things that don't need to be said. But I just think that for me, in that moment, my gosh, it couldn't be a worse time. But I'm so grateful to God that He would have enabled me to just focus on what was more important. But don't say to a mother them tummy big, whether it be they're pregnant or had a child, even if they had the child 3 years ago, do not say it. It's a struggle for a lot of women. A lot of women are trying. You know, a lot of mothers are trying. A lot of mothers don't even have the time, the resources, the energy to really try either. And it weighs on a lot of our minds. And you know, you may never know who you might tick off. You might never know who you might send over the bridge when you go and say something like that. Listen, me, no man, mothers are facing stuff too. Mothers are going through stuff too. And even though we are considered to be some of the strongest people, strongest humans, you know, we need a little breather too. Don't go say, oh, the mother belly big. Do not speak about the size of a mother's tummy. Do not. If a mother shares or expresses in whatever way that she's tired or she needs some rest or she needs a break, don't ever ask her why or from what. Don't ever make it seem as though she doesn't have the right to express that she's tired. Even though she is proud to be a mother, even though she appears to you to be the best mother in the world, even though most, if not all the time, she doesn't take a break, even though she doesn't say no when it comes to her kids, even though she keeps going, never ever question if a mother says she's tired or needs a break. I've shared that once that I need a break, I need to get away a little bit. And I was asked, what for? And I didn't respond because in my mind, in my heart, I knew why. And I was assuming that everybody or most people would understand why. But maybe they don't. But never ever question, never discredit a mother saying she's tired or she needs a break. Because even though she's here to go the extra mile, to do her best, always to put, would appear, her children first, she does have the right to say she's tired. And it's the best, and it really is the best thing for her mental health when she's able to express freely that she is tired. I love you. I want to be there for you. I will be there for you, but I'm tired. It's the honesty for me. It frees her soul. It frees her mind. It gives her energy. It gives her, you know, fuel to go another day, knowing that she's being honest with how she really feels and how she's doing. And it may even make her, or help to make her a better person, a better parent, a better mom. So never ever question a mother who expresses that she needs a break. The other thing I hate is when I say I'm tired, or if I've ever expressed that I need a break and someone, not intending to hurt my feelings, you know, then what if you had 2, 3, or 4? What if you had to do like Jane over there? What if you had more than 2? What if you had 4, 5, 6 like? What if you had 4 or 6 like Miss Jane? Don't say that. Like, I'll speak for myself. I know I should be grateful. I'm eternally grateful that I have support. But sometimes even with support, mothers are tired, boo. Sometimes even with all the support in the world, you are tired mentally. And so having one child doesn't mean that you can't be tired. Doesn't mean that you can't need a break. And you comparing that to somebody else who has more than one child is really discrediting what the mother has expressed. And so that's the reason a lot of mothers really don't even say it sometimes. Somebody who has 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 children may even be doing better than somebody who has 1. because everybody is different and their mental capacity is different, their physical abilities are different. Do not try to discredit when a mother expresses that she's tired or she needs a break. And then in the future, that mother may never ever express that again. And that's not good for her. That's not healthy, really. Keeping everything in, that isn't. Now, I know that there are some common things that, perhaps we want to agree that every child must learn. And I can agree to an extent. But it's not cool to ever say to a parent, to a mother, that she's spoiling her child. Now, I think that spoiling your child, that term, is relative. It is relative. Because a parent, a mother in the Caribbean parents differently in general from someone in North America, for example, or someone in Europe. And what you may consider as spoiling may not be considered as spoiling the child in another region, in another home, even in the same region, in the same country, the same community. Because we all parent differently. And so you telling a parent that they're spoiling the child may come off as though they aren't doing a good enough job, and however the child turns out, it is their fault. To an extent, a lot of these things, how kids turn out and how people turn out, can sort of trace back to how they were raised and how their parents raised them and the things they instilled in them. But at the same time, I don't think you have the right to look on, especially to someone you don't know or to someone with whom you aren't helping to raise their children, to say they're spoiling their child. Because a lot of times we question other people's parenting, but are we really looking at how we are parenting? I don't think that's something you should say to a mom, that they're spoiling their child. And a lot of times the things you see happening in public, as I shared in one of my previous videos, even the mother is shocked by it sometimes. And you don't know what happens when those families get home, how those parents deal with it. They may choose not to deal with it a particular way in public, which I think sometimes is the best way. Probably just letting them know that that was outside of what you would, allow or what you think is right. Say it to them, but you expecting someone to reprimand your child a particular way in public and then verbalizing that you're spoiling the child, I don't think that's right. I don't think that's something you should say to a mother, especially in front of the child, to say they're spoiling the child. One of my friends shared with me recently that, perhaps about a week or so after having her first child, her mother said to her that the kind of pain or whatever she's feeling is something that will blow off. Pretty much saying so many other women or mothers have gone through this, so this is not anything for you to be complaining about. That's the essence of it. Whether you've gone through a vaginal birth or a C-section, especially for the very first time, it's not something you should compare to any other experience. It doesn't matter how many other women in this world have had children. What you're experiencing as a mother is unique to you. And you have the right to express how you felt. You have the right to express that this is hard. You have the right to express that you're in a lot of pain. It doesn't matter whether a lot of persons have already gone through it. And I don't think this is something you should say to a mother, to say, so many people have gone through it, you'll be fine. Encourage them to say, I believe you'll be okay. It's okay to express how you feel now. Take your time to go through the process. How can I help? That sort of thing, I believe, would be more helpful than saying, so many people have already gone through it, you'll be okay. Especially in the moment, that can cause so much damage, so much hurt and pain. We're strong, as women and as mothers, we are strong, but we're also fragile, we're also human. So remember that. This one may not be that common because I think when it comes to the comment, it's usually frowned on when we speak of perhaps people who have, or women who are not yet mothers. But a lot of times there are persons who would come up to a mother who has already had a child or two to say or ask, so when are you going to have the next one? When are you going to have the other one? This one need company, No, I know it may sound like a joke, and it's probably something we can laugh off maybe afterwards. But remember that similar to those women who are not yet mothers, or perhaps unfortunately may never be mothers, or who have even chosen not to be mothers, there are mothers who may have gone through certain experiences in their first, go. For example, having their first child or second child, that they are traumatized and they have gone through experiences that if they go again, it may not go as they hope. For example, there may be persons who have gone through experiences where their doctors have encouraged them not to have another child because of health reasons. There are persons who may not be able to have another child. There are some persons who, for whatever reasons, would have had to have some sort of surgery or so, and they definitely cannot have another child. They would want to, but they cannot. And so that's why I said it's perhaps not so common, because usually when you ask or when you speak of the comment of, or the question of when you're going to have a child, it's usually for persons who have never had children. But asking a mother, so when are you going to have the other one, as though, it's just going to a circus and just winning one of those teddy bears after you play a game. You get what I mean? As though this is something that is so easy. And as I said, I may be overthinking it, but I'm just saying there are some persons who may not be able to take it a particular way because of their previous experiences. I've had conversations with some of my mom friends through my page, Mommying for Real, who have said to me, I'm so blessed to have had my daughter or my son, but I really don't know if I can go again because of the experience I had with my first. Or I had this condition while I was pregnant, and I'm being encouraged not to try again, and I would really want to. And so you coming up with somebody and saying or asking, when are you going to have the other one? You're not give this one you're not giving this one some company. It may not fall on, the right shoulders. It may not go well with someone. You get what I mean? So I just think there are some things we can just, yeah, man. And some of these things are things I've never thought about before becoming a mother, But having had conversations with my mom friends and having experienced some of these things myself, I'm saying, if you don't know somebody's situation, if you don't know somebody, just avoid saying or asking certain things, Just do that. Another thing I believe is asking about certain developmental things or asking certain developmental questions. Now, as I said, some of these things that I'm sharing may be things that generally people don't have a problem with, but I do believe there are some mothers who aren't so mentally strong as others, and it may not go so well with some of them. So you have a child who is 2 years old, and Jane has a child who is 2 years old. Do not keep asking her, is he doing this yet? Is she doing this yet? That sort of thing. I think it can really rub some moms bad sometimes, especially if their child or children aren't developing at a certain pace as others. I think if people bring it up to say, my child is this, my child is that, not sort of a rubbing it in people's face kind of way, Well, and you see, this is the reason I focus on mental health, maternal mental health, because there's so much that you cannot control when it comes to people sharing certain things. I know that. And so it's our responsibility to build our mental strength, to focus on how we manage and monitor those things, because there are people who will just share, say things, and we may not be prepared to welcome those and to deal with those things that are said or asked. So while I'm saying these are some things I don't think you should say to a mother, at the end of the day, what I encourage is that you work on monitoring and managing your mental health so that you're able to deal with it if it comes, even though you don't welcome it. The comments and the questions may come. You don't welcome them, you never ask anybody, but they may come. But I hope that you're able to work on them or seek some help in terms of how you can build that mental strength, because there are people out there who really just say and ask what they please. Please share in the comments below something you can relate to or something else you think somebody said to you that really rubbed you bad. Thank you so much for sharing these few minutes with me. Don't forget to like, comment, share with someone you think it may help. And if you choose to subscribe, I'd really appreciate it as well. So don't forget to comment. That really helps in terms of pushing the video. Alright, so thanks so much for your time, and I'll certainly see you in the next one. Bye.